My first piece as a poet was called My Life, My Journey, My Story, His Glory. I like to call it LJ, SG, just to keep it G for it's easier and shorter. But I've come to realize that in life, what's easier is not always shorter, the same way as what's harder is not always longer. It's just that in this heat of life, mirages are plenty, and as we walk, we tend to pant heavily for the virtual oasis. For our perceptions, our motions of our visions in the orbit of the scope of life, and we differ on what is the right angle to view from. That one point stands on many standpoints, hence the birth of relativity and the death of absolutes. Any story has more than one meaning, for there are many eyes. I mean, think about it. There's 7 billion people, that's a 7 billion crowd and 7 billion mouths, but 14 billion eyes. So the facts are certain, but the interpretations are varied. Like there's ZTV, Sky News, CNN, Al Jazeera, they all pitch cameras and people in places and get profit for telling stories, which means many a meaning means meanings mean many things. Like the meaning of love means love has a meaning, but it's more than a meaning, more than a feeling, but a fixed subject with multiple subtopics, the spreading of the multi-colored art pencils on the portrait of life. You see, love is the art of poetry, the expression of a divine character through human personality. So I don't do poetry. Poetry does me. I just speak the speech of the meek, expensive talk, but delivered to you for free. So I billboard is a headline to read, and I broadcast as a song to ear to. It is just one message that comes out differently. So what makes up a true story? What makes up what I tell you believable? What's the proof that separates fables from truth? How do you separate stories that make sense from those that don't make sense? Though sense is the last rung on the ladder of ascension, so climb up. Take your foot off the baseless, presumptuous, polluted propaganda, the parades, charades of life. You see, eloquence is not substance. And just because I got this chance to stand in the circle of your circumference does not automatically mean that I got a worthwhile story to tell you. So my words are my accountability, my responsibility to speak to you a story that edifies your own life story, to tell you a story from my own eclectic office. I've only lived little yet, yes, but I've read the story of the Ancient of Days, the story of wisdom's existence from the beginning, hovering upon void forms, creating everything from nothing, the story of kings and queens and how they ought to live by Emmanuel from Emmanuel, the story of humanity's bankrupt and corrupt existence to an awesome hope of wholeness. So I'm passionate about this story, and I purpose to tell it. And with every opportunity, I'll herald the house about the daily news of the world, about the mirror, the standard, about love personified, affecting this poet's poetic virtue. So extra, read all about it. Come see me after this piece, and I'll tell you the whole story about it.